Alright, what's up? We're going to do a Mekk-Knight invoked deck profile that nobody asked for. So here we go. First of all, we have 3 Alistair the Invoker. You're playing an invoked deck, you have to max out on him. It's the reason you play the deck. And then for the Mekk-Knight engine, 3 Purple Nightfall, because he's the best one to open on turn 1 if they make you go first for whatever reason. And then to go with him, there's 2 blue and 1 indigo. And just the standard Mekk-Knight package. It helps get bodies on board to link summon with and to push damage with. And then for the hand traps, I'm playing 3 Ash because she's just the most generically good one, and she's a fire for Purgatrio. And then I'm also playing 3 Nibiru because he's a light for Mekaba, and because sometimes it just stops your opponent's deck, and
it's Nibiru.
Yeah. It's pretty solid. And then just to clear a threat and give you a body to attack over, playing 3 Kaijus. Realistically, this should be Gamma Seal, but I didn't feel like unsleeving my Gamma Seals. And then onto the spells. 3 Invocation. Since I'm playing Pot of Desires, I don't want to banish extra copies. And also, people like to try and Ash my Alistair, so having an Invocation in hand to start with is always nice. And sometimes it's good to be able to make, 2 Invoked Fusions. Like, you can make a Mekaba and a Purgatrio underneath of an Invoker of Madness, and makes it pretty easy to push for game. And then to search for the Alistair, 3 Meltdowns and 1 Terraforming. Meltdowns, pretty nuts, being able to do your fusion summons without being able to be responded to. It makes it so that you can use your Invoker of Madness effect without being interrupted, because they can't do anything about it. And then 3 Super Poly. Since you're playing Alistair, I'm also playing a pretty hefty invoked monster package, so Alistair plus almost any attribute is super polymerizationable, so it's pretty strong, and it also it helps make Elysium a lot easier as well. And then 3 Instant Fusion. This can summon Raijin, it can summon Kaliga, and it can summon Thousand Eyes Restrict, which can help clear boards and can bait some negates for you. And then 3 Book of Eclipse, because I'm playing Purgatrio. This can bait negates, and it can also just put everything in defense for you to beat over with Purgatrio. And after you boost Purgatrio with Alistair, a lot of times if they have 3 or 4 monsters on the field, it's just game. 2 Pot of Desires. I didn't want to, because it's once per turn and I don't want to banish all the cards in my deck, I am only playing 2. But you could definitely make the argument for 3. And then also, since we're blind second, 2 Mind Controls. It's just something that you can set it and then special Mekk-Knight and then activate it, so it's just all around solid going second. And then, because I don't want to lose to Mystic Mine, playing 2 Cyclones. Realistically, this could just be MST, but in the rare scenario that you play against like True Draco, or it's also better against Salamangreat to banish the Rage. And I didn't want to play Twin Twisters because I don't want to have to discard, because sometimes you just need all the cards in your hand. And then onto the extra deck. Almirage, Secure Gardena, also an Alistair, go into this, and then you have your light for Mekaba. And then Gravity Controller. This can be useful to swap out your invoked fusions. Like for instance, if you have a Mekaba in your extra monster zone, you can, like one play you can do is you can link this off into Gravity Controller, then this puts Mekaba in the grave, then Invocation turns these into Elysium. And also you can go Thousand Eyes Restrict in the extra monster zone, steal a monster, link this off for the Gravity Controller, then you can Gravity Controller back an extra monster zone monster, and it clears two cards for the price of 1.
Also, it cannot use your opponent's cards. Word summon.
Yes, we figured that out today at Locals. And then for Link 2's Invoker of Madness, searches your invocations, and he has good arrows. And then Cross Sheep, this makes Oral Sword for free, essentially. And then I also play Phoenix, just to clear back row, and it's just a good generic Link 2. Also a Fire for Purgatrio, that comes up sometimes. And then I'm playing Unicorn, just as another removal tool. And then Boral Sword, because this is your win condition. And then fusions, the instant fusion target. And then 2 Mekka-Ba. Purgatrio. I'm considering bumping this up to 2, but I'm not sure what to cut. I'm thinking either the Gravity Controller or the Raijin, because this guy doesn't really come up too often, though he is an instant fusion target. Like, if there was one scenario where I bricked, and I just instant fusion summoned this and then flipped him down, and then my opponent didn't clear it because he bricked as well, and it's a nice interruption if it does end up coming up. And then Kaliga, I didn't summon this, but in theory you can instant fusion this out underneath of you can instant fusion it out underneath of your Invoker of Madness, and then search for an invocation. Also, if you instant fusion this and then summon your Alistair, you can go Alistair and this into Cross Sheep, and then invocation for something else, and then your Cross Sheep can summon this back because he's level 4 and he was properly summoned. And then last is Elysium. This thing is nuts. It's 4,000 defense. It's really hard to get over, and when he's on the field he counts as all attributes, so he can banish himself off the field and banish all cards your opponent controls. So yeah, this is also really good for Super Poly, because you can Super Poly any of your invoked fusions with your opponent's extra deck monster, and you just slurp up one of their guys and make something huge for free. And then onto the side deck, 3DD Crow, because it's better than Ash in some matchups. And then same with Droll and Lock. And then the third Cyclone. And 2 Forbidden Chalice. This can be good going first or second, depending on the matchup. Especially with Shadowls running around, you can actually swing into a face down Shadowll, and this is one of the few cards you can actually negate that flip effect with. And then also it acts as a trap if you're going first. And then also Called by the Grave. This is usually if I'm going first against a deck that I know is going to play hand traps against me, or against decks like Dinos. You can Call by the Grave the Miscellaneous, or you can Call by the Grave like an Alistair in the mirror match. When they link up for Almirage, you can just Call by the Grave and banish their Alistair, and then if they don't have a second Alistair in hand, they're kind of stuck. And then last, 3 Twin Twisters for the back row matchup, just because sometimes you need more than just 2 Cyclones. And yep, that is the profile. Thanks for watching, guys.